How much would your life change if you knew every single time someone told you a lie? Even if that someone was you. Lies like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you can't own a business, and you definitely will never make more than you did in your old corporate job. Get ready to be proactive, passionate, productive, and oh so profitable in a way you never before experienced by opening your eyes to the Big Fat Lies Show. Now, here is your host of Big Fat Lies, success sorceress, and entrepreneurial spiritual mentor, Jennifer Kramer-Lewis.
Oh my goodness, you guys, are you ready to unlock the power of the human design projector within you? Are you looking for the insights and knowledge to help guarantee success and satisfaction in your life? And as a projector in human design, you hold the capabilities to look deeply into someone's soul and uncover the exact things that they need to do to develop, to generate a successful and fulfilling life. However, projectors, without an invitation, your advice or feedback may be ignored, or even worse, shunned by the very people that you could be helping. So Ruhu, the founder and creator of the human design system, calls projectors the administrators of the new world order. To make sure that you are recognized and invited to be the consultant, it is important to understand the secrets to effectively communicate your soul satisfaction specialist insights and maximize personal success for both yourself and your ideal clients. So if that's what you're looking for today, projectors, insights and knowledge to help guarantee success and satisfaction in your own life, and also to be invited to be the belle of the ball with your unique set of talents and experience. Oh my goodness. So if ever there was a day that joining me live inside the studio on Inspired Choices Network is a good idea for you projectors, I would highly recommend that you show up live. If you are watching this or listening on the replay, please, I want to see that thumbs up. I want to see that check mark. I want to see that subscription, because I'm going to be providing quite a bit of information today, and you want to be able to come back and listen to this over and over again. This show is as much a transmission as it is a masterclass. If you listen to it once, you're going to hear one set of information. If you listen to it more than once, there will be parts of the show that you're like, I don't even remember hearing that, because you weren't ready to hear it. So I would love for you to join me inside the studio Mondays at 3:00 Pacific. If you're listening on the replay, I go live every week that I'm available. And then also, if I do a pre-record, I generally invite people out of my community. So you can go to community.jenniferkramerlewis.com for special invitations to have facilitation from me outside of this masterclass. I do have special invitations for people inside my community that I don't share with the general public. So today we're going to discuss and explore the powerful role of being a projector and the techniques used and needed to craft invitation-worthy communications. So are you invitation worthy? And here's the thing. We're going to start this at the very, very beginning. We're going to start this at the very, very beginning. So you may be an investigator profile. You may have deeply investigated what it's like to be a projector. And also, how cool would it be for you to uncover a new perspective, a new way of generating those invitations, or a new way of plugging into generators who will be generating your invitations for you, because you're not a generator, you are a projector. And as much as you would love to be a generator, as much as you would love to be an Energizer bunny, just bouncing all over the universe and generating and manifesting your own life, you're not actually here to do that. You're not actually here to work a lot. You're not actually here to generate a lot. You are not here to do the doing. So I'm going to repeat that. You are not here to generate. You are not here to work a lot, and you are not here to do the doing. So wherever you are, I want you to say that out loud to yourself. I am not here to do the doing. So, and I take a big breath. I'm not here to do the doing. I'm not here to do the doing. I'm not here to do the doing. And just relax, because there are people who are here to do the doing, and they are not you. You are here to guide the doing. You are here to consult on the doing, but you are not here to do the doing. And I would say that that's one of the most heartbreaking things that I see in my projector clients, in my projector friends, and in my projector family members, is that they are doing a ton of doing. And so what happens when projectors are doing a ton of doing is they get tired, they get burnt out, they get bitter, and they get what's called not self. So basically everything that's not them starts to come to the surface. And so the bitterness, this is the keynote for projectors. So when you are doing what you're here to be doing, which is consulting, advising, administering, just knowing exactly what energy needs to go where, playing the chess pieces for sure. I would say projectors are excellent at playing the chess pieces. They're here to play. They are not here to do. And when there's so much doing happening every day, all day for you, projector, what happens is if you are not adequately recognized, if you're not doing or not being invited to advise, not being invited to consult, not being invited to play the chess pieces, then what can happen is you get bitter. You get bitter and you don't recognize it. You don't know that you are a little scorpion going around stinging people with your bitterness, asking to be invited, asking to be recognized. It comes across as super freaking needy. And it's the last thing that will invite people to recognize you. It's almost like they can't recognize you because you're dying. You're literally dying to be recognized. And I have seen projectors die or attempt to die in the pursuit of being recognized. So if that's you, if you developed fibromyalgia, if you developed, any cancer in your chest cavity, any cancer in your hip cavity, then, those are the places that you are looking to get recognized. And quite possibly where your deepest talents lie, if we look at, what chakra your cancer or illness showed up in, projectors who are dying to be recognized, it's all so interesting, you guys. It's all so very interesting. Now, I was raised by a very, very talented projector, very, very talented projector. And I saw her multiple times just about kill herself, trying to be recognized, dying to be recognized. And so, as a very sensitive being, I could see, wow, this is how it feels to be recognized and to attempt to be recognized and to attempt to call attention to yourself in order to be recognized. And I would say my entire childhood, with the exception of probably, a week here or there, my parent was bitter, angry, frustrated, like almost betrayed by the earth or betrayed by her talents, in the sense like, look, these are all the things that I know how to do. These are all the things that I know how to advise on. These are all the things that I could help people achieve. And, she was very, 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 very good at the advisor role, at the consultant role, at the trainer role. Very, very good. But the actual generating things, she probably shouldn't have been doing those things. And of course, did she have that information? Absolutely not. And, I would say projectors, your family members, your inner circle, the people who are supposed to love you and who are supposed to be your cheerleaders, who are supposed to be the people who are generating if they are generators, and manifesting if they are manifestors, and inviting you to things and showing you how awesome you are if they're reflectors. If they're not doing that for you, it becomes about you. Does that make sense? So you being you becomes about you, and noticing, okay, well, how successful am I in my day-to-day interactions with the people that matter to me, is a really, really great question to ask. And, am I driving people off with what I'm talking about? Am I driving people off with what I need from them? All very, very good questions. And I would say one of the things that I would invite projectors to is to learn to love your dark side. Learn to love that shadow frequency of neediness, or learn to love that shadow frequency of, gosh, I just feel so bitter. I need to just like barf all this bitterness out, because there may be successful avenues for you to barf your bitterness out. Like, look at all of this like gossip. And it's so interesting. I don't know that he is a projector type, but remember that gossip guy, his name was Perez Hilton. And oh my goodness, what a sharp tongue did that guy ever have? I mean, I'm sure he's still alive, but it's like, I don't remember seeing his stuff recently, so maybe it's just not for me anymore. But so freaking funny, so freaking sharp-tongued, and it may have been an excellent, successful avenue for him to barf out his bitterness on humanity, kind of. And so if you can learn to just embrace, to love your dark side, to be nurturing of your dark side, I would say that could be like the very genesis of success for you. And I would say when you work with me, one of the things that you will get from me is brutal honesty. I'm kind about it, but later I will give you the honest to goodness truth. And, for me, dancing around, and as much as I love dancing, I don't dance around the truth. I tell you exactly what you need to hear, exactly when you need to hear it. And you can go ahead and be bitter and mad at me. I have the bandwidth to know that the stuff and the experience, oh my goodness, to know that when I get the information to channel to you about the things that you need to show up in your life as the amazing, successful curator of what is successful for people, the chess player, the advisor, the consultant of a successful future for people in whatever avenue that you work in, then you get to have what you want. You get to have the recognition that you deserve, the recognition that you crave, the recognition that's like, oh my goodness, my battery is low. I need recognition to charge me up. Well, it's not needy unless it comes across as needy. And I would say one of the things that I would super love for you to know is that when you are seeking recognition, it is always going to come across as needy. When you are living in your success, when you are living in the deep advisor role that you came here to have and be and do, then recognition just becomes easy. Being the belle of the ball just becomes easy. And the more you can plug into the manifestors and the manifesting generators and the generators and the reflectors that can point people at your business, the more recognition becomes a byproduct rather than something that you are seeking. Does that make sense? How could recognition become a byproduct rather than something that you are seeking in your life? Well, I'm going to talk more about that after the break. My name is Jennifer Kramer Lewis. We are on the Inspired Choices Network. The show is called Big Fat Lies, and we're talking all about projectors today. Oh my goodness, you guys. So before the break, we were talking about how projectors are not here to generate. They're not here to work a lot. They are here to consult. They're here to be consultants. And so when they're not doing that consultant role, it's not possible for them to receive that signature feeling of success. Now, how do you know what success feels like to you, projectors? So even me just asking you that question, like, how do you know what success feels like to you, can take you, maybe days of writing, like write, be curious, start to collect the data about what success feels like to you. Also in your chart, there may be some interesting placements of these planets that really speak of success. Now, if you know about the gene keys, your Pearl sequence, and if you also know about the gene keys, your even your Venus sequence. Like I've been studying this for quite a while now. I'm more than halfway through my deconditioning process, and my life does not look like it did when I first started studying human design. And, I have dozens and dozens of different modalities that come out during my client sessions. And what I really love about what I'm doing right now with my Limitless process is that the information that comes through Limitless is information that people can take into every single area of their life. So I call them the 4 pillars. So there's health, wealth, happiness, and love. And so if you're feeling like you are a well-rounded human being, health, wealth, happiness, and love are the places where most people are looking for support. So just for example, your intimates, your love relationships, if they are off kilter, if you don't feel like you're well supported, if you don't feel like you're recognized as, whatever it is you'd like to be recognized as, and you go running after those family members, trying to get them to recognize you, or, being super bitter that you're not being recognized in the way that you would like to be recognized, you can't hide that stuff. It's like a big freaking sign over top of your head that says, love me, recognize me, like just whatever it is that you're feeling unsuccessful at. Let's pretend the biggest thing is your relationships. Then what I would recommend for you, projectors, is to take a freaking break. And this is something that I do recommend to my clients. I'm like, okay, where are the most unsuccessful parts of your life? And in many cases, it is those primary love relationships with your kids, with your spouse, with your friends, and then of course that jumps out into your next circle out, which is your client relationships. And so what can happen is if you're dying to be recognized as a good mom, you're dying to be recognized as a good sister, or whatever it is, then it's almost guaranteed that you will never get that recognition because you're coming at it from just a completely incorrect place. And those may never be the people who are here to recognize you. Does that make sense? It's like when you're looking for a consultant, do you hire your mom? Probably not. However, like how cool would it be if, mom projectors could just like relax and, feel more successful in their day-to-day lives because they're not running around begging for people to pay attention to them, begging for recognition. They just go ahead and do the stuff that makes them happy. This isn't generating, this is like painting. This is like, wardrobe curation. This is like getting your hair done, getting your toes done, going to the beach, walking your dog, making love with your lover, the things that help you ground, the things that help you relax, and the things that take you basically like on a field trip out of this reality where you are feeling unsuccessful. So it's like, okay, if there was a door out of unsuccessfulville, would you take it? You can even ask yourself that out loud. If there was a door outside of unsuccessfulville, would I take it? Or would I need to know all of the things that are beyond that door? Like, could I actually trust myself? This is me pretending to be you, by the way, projectors. Can I actually trust myself to invite myself to take a door out of unsuccessfulville, or actually take that door because Jennifer's like, wow, there's a door. Let's go through it. I'm inviting you, projectors, to go through the door from unsuccessfulville into successfulville. You know, and there's a ton of different things that are available to you that aren't available to the other energy types. You are the most modern energy type. Like I said earlier, you're like R2D2. Like, you're just showing up and people are like, what is this cute little thing? You know, like, so much, this is great. And I would love that for you, where you get to be talked about, you get to be invited, you get to be the belle of the ball because of your unique perspectives. And you have dozens and dozens and dozens of unique perspectives. You have the ability to look deep into people's soul. You can see how this behavior is causing this result. You can see, you know, the next 25 steps because you're such adept chess players. And there are people who are not adept at chess. Let's just make that super clear. They are not the chess players that you are. They do need you to be the administrators of the new world order, to be the people who are like, okay, this is the asset allocation. You know, it's like, okay, well, you people don't need any more of that asset. If you know what I'm talking about. And you people need way more of that asset. You know, like, if you think about what's going on the planet, you know, the hoarding of resources are, you know, like, it's a tiny percent of the population that has gigantic assets. And so maybe, projectors, there's something for you there. And, you know, it's so important to me that you get the invitations that are congruent with the type of talent that you have. And so that's another thing that shows up in my limitless process, is like, what are you really inviting people to? What are you really, like, what's working with you going to change for them? What kind of consulting or asset allocation or administration or advisory are you inviting people to? And it might be something so completely fun. Like, I would say that pleasure and fun and joy and delight are some of the hugest conversations that I have with my clients. This isn't work. This is play. We are here to learn how to play more. And projectors, I am inviting you to play with success. And what is success for you? It's so interesting. I had the best conversation. This isn't a projector client, but it just makes me want to talk to you about it. This week, I was talking to my client and I was like, well, let's go back and pretend that when you were a little girl, you had a business or you played business. And, you know, like, where were you? What were you doing? What was your business? And my client was like, oh my God, Jennifer, I did play business. I used to take my dad's briefcase and I used to, like, get socks and, like, put them in my shirt and pretend that I had breasts. And I lived in a penthouse apartment, like a loft style penthouse apartment. You know, this is her playing when she was little. And so many of you projectors may have had some insight into how you wanted your life to be, what success felt like, what success smelt like. You know, did you have, like, boobies when you were successful? It makes me think of that. Oh gosh, What song is that? When I grow up, gosh, somebody type it out to me in the chat. It's the Pussycat Dolls, When I Grow Up song. And it's just like, how freaking cool is it that you do have the ability to have this sense of who you want to be. And perhaps even as a little tiny person, you were advising yourself. You were advising others. You were providing consulting. And so for the correct people, they may have very well listened to you. Because I had that when I was little. I've been, a lifelong intuitive. I've been a lifelong psychic. And, I did give people messages. And sometimes I got smacked across the face for the messages. And sometimes the messages were very well received. And the people changed their trajectory because of the messages that I was giving them. Now, in my body graph, oh, here it is. When I grow up, I want to be famous. I want to be a star. I want to be in movies. Yeah. So it's like, what do you wanna? And, like maybe write 1,000 things that you want to do when you grow up. And that really starts to program the quantum field to bring you those things. And then also bring you the generators, bring you the manifestors. Because as a projector, you do not have a defined throat. So that is a high frequency, by the way. It's not a detriment, but it also points you that you need team members to become the belle of the ball. There has to be people putting on the ball, and it's not you putting on the ball. Does that make sense? You're probably thinking, oh, but I know what flowers to get. I know what stringed instruments that I want to be playing. I know what songs. I know what gown that person is supposed to be wearing. Yes. That is an event planner, an event coordinator, not someone who's doing the do. You are not playing the instruments. You are not sewing the gowns. You are not like blowing the glass for the crystal chandeliers. You just know what needs to go into the ball. But we want to invite you to be at the ball, not generating the ball, grabbing the correct attention from those people who are dying to give it to you, of course, but not when you are running after them saying, please pay attention to me, please pay attention to me, please pay attention to me, because that is the antithesis of what it is that you are here to be and do. It's going to be supernatural for you when you get into the correct frequency projectors. So more after the break on how to get into the correct frequency to be the belle of the ball. This show is called Big Fat Lies. My name is Jennifer Kramer Lewis, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network. Please join me after the break.
Do you want to know what the biggest, fattest lie is in the whole world? Jennifer Kramer Lewis has discovered, after working with hundreds of conscious, heart-centered entrepreneurs, that they believe in the lie that if you work harder, smarter, and faster than everyone else, only then will you be rewarded with success. Jennifer audaciously stakes claim that what is pleasurable for you will always be your direct route to the big bucks. Jennifer knows working this hard is robbing you of your dream life. What would you say if she gave you the keys to the Ferrari called your correct energy? What would change if you had a burnout-proof business plan, a juicy switched-on energy field calibrated by correct business practices, as well as Jennifer's success sorcery, deep psychic awareness, and support? The investment for this process is 1/6 what Jennifer's VIP level clients pay. Why? Jennifer believes that once you have this information, you become limitless. And that's exactly what this planet needs more of. Choose your limitless life and business at 888.jenniferkramerlewis.com. That's 888.jenniferkramerlewis.com.
This is Big Fat Lies with success sorceress and entrepreneurial spiritual mentor, Jennifer Kramer Lewis. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com or send a question or comment to Jennifer at jenniferkramerlewis.com.
Oh my goodness, you guys, we are halfway through the show. We are talking about successful communication as a projector and with projectors to invite you into deeply, deeply satisfying, successful, loving relationships, like loving relationships where being recognized is just normal. Like you don't have to be like, hey, recognize me. Hey, love me. Hey, pay me. Hey, whatever. You don't have to do that anymore. And what I want to invite you to right now, and it's 3:33, so that's a perfect time to invite you to this, is that you are always changing. You are always changing, and you're moving towards your soul's mission, as slow or as fast or in how many moves. Yeah, it makes me think of that show, The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Like, I think it's really, really important to know that no matter how many moves it takes you to get to life satisfaction, and how many moves it takes you to get to where you feel, such juicy love and affection and appreciation from the people who are around you, whether they're your lovers or your family or your clients, the moves are the moves. Does that make sense? Like it is possible for you to learn the personal choreography of how you do success. It's right there in your chart. I can see it plain as day. I can explain it to you. I can show it to you, and I can mentor you and practice with you those steps towards success. I think that's really, really important for you to realize that you are always shifting and that you are not alone. Well, you're only as alone as you allow yourself to be. And I would say that it's super important for projectors to realize you don't have a manifesting vehicle. So your throat box is your manifesting vehicle. And so those entities, those energy people, who have access to manifesting through the throat are the manifestors and the generators. And so generators are generators and manifesting generators. Everyone else needs access via my throat box or, my manifestor clients' throat boxes. And, so in order to be able to get what you want, you need to have successful relationships with people. Very, very successful relationships with people. And so some questions that you can ask to start to facilitate that shift are, how successful do I feel in these areas of my life? Like out of 10, this is me pretending to be you, by the way, or I'm just going to ask you, if you are shifting out of 10, how successful do you feel with the shift? So 10 out of 10 would be like, yeah, I'm shifting and I can, do a quad axle while I'm shifting. I can spin on one foot for 15 minutes while I'm shifting. So that would be 10 out of 10. 0 out of 10 is I am shifting so much that I feel like I'm in a constant earthquake. And that neither is better or worse. And then another question you can ask is, how successful do I feel in my personal relationships at being recognized? So out of 10, 10 out of 10 is I get recognized every day. People appreciate me every day. People send me clients every day. People want to consult with me every day. Multiple times a day coming into my inbox. This is me pretending to be you. And 0 out of 10 is I'm so bitter that when I open my mouth, I'm like a dragon on Game of Thrones. I'm like burning down my house. I'm burning down a city. I'm burning down a whole army every time I open my mouth, and I can't stop myself. So if that feels like you, that your bitterness is out of control, then it might be time to consult. It might be time to get some information, because you have so little time. Like even though I was saying to you, you're always shifting, I would love for you to realize that when you don't do you at the top level of your game, there's nobody doing it. A friend of mine tried to tell me, oh, we're all the same. I'm like, we are not all the same. We're not all the same. There's a tapestry. And, some people are gray and some people are ecru and some people are taupe and some people are freaking coral pink. Some people are like bright freaking fluorescent pink. Some people are deep, dark garnet red. And some people are like forest green. And so if we don't have the other colors and we don't have the base, then the tapestry isn't successful. It's not full. It's not beautiful. And so by trying to be the same as everyone else to try to generate business when you're not here to generate it all, gosh, it just makes you so frustrated, doesn't it? Makes you feel so bitter, so angry, so ripped off. And I would say, that's not what you're here to be and do. You're not here to feel ripped off. You're not here to feel ancillary to the process. You're here to be consulted. You are here to be a vessel of truth. You're here to guide people. Like, just imagine for yourself, like sometimes as just as a fun thing, I imagine being Elon Musk's coach. Like, what if he came to me and asked me, hey, Jennifer, I know you love real estate and I know you have talent and a background in real estate and investments and money and mortgages. I'm thinking about selling all of my real estate. I think it's time for me to just go and live in, a tiny little casita on my rocket farm. I don't know what he calls it. I'll just call it his rocket farm. And I would say, one of the most heartbreaking things that I watched him do was he sold this house that used to belong to Gene Wilder. And I think in his process, he may have realized that that was not a great move. He was doing it in reaction. Now, he's not a projector, but, I love the idea of getting to advise at the top level for you. So we're not talking about advising people who are not doing great things. They don't really need advisors. They might need a health coach or, but like, I just really feel like projectors, depending on how long you've been in your business and depending on how long you've been in your process, I love the idea of you consulting at the highest level with decamillionaires and centimillionaires and billionaires and really helping them refine their process. I remember watching this documentary about Warren Buffett, and he's very, very great at the math part of his business and just so great at it. But he was always thinking, okay, well, someone else is going to be the one to administer this wealth, in philanthropic and I want to say endeavors, but it wanted to come across as adventures. So wouldn't that be cool? Like, what if there was such a thing as a philanthropic adventure? And what if you projectors are the people who could advise on what a philanthropic adventure is? And, with billions of dollars in the purse of what this philanthropic adventure is. And that's what I see for you guys is you are from the future. You are the most modern energy type. You have the ability to advise. That's what you're here to do. You're not here to work. You don't have to build the Giza pyramid like, generators and manifesting generators. You don't have to come up with incredible initiatives that have never been before on this planet, like manifestors. The impetus, well, maybe not the impetus. What's the word? sort of like the responsibilities off of you. The responsibility is off of you to generate or initiate. So it's almost like you get to edit the world's work. And it's so easy to edit people's work. It's like, well, I watched you do that show and here are the things. But projectors, you absolutely have to wait. You have to fall in love with waiting. You have to wait, especially if you're an emotional projector, you have to doubly wait. You have to fall in love with waiting, and you have to fall in love with allowing other people to wait for you and your process. And I would say, as an emotional manifesting generator, I really did have to fall in love with waiting. Waiting, like, am I ready to give people this advice? This is me pretending to be you, projectors. Am I ready to give people this advice? Are the people ready for me to give them this advice? And then the pièce de résistance, who asked me? Who asked me? So for those of you who are projectors, and basically I would say everybody who has a body, who's trying to provide advice, this is a question you need to ask yourself. Who asked me? Even though I'm observing, I'm just going to flip this over. Even though you are observing the things that need to change, the things that need to change are so freaking obvious to you. The advice that you would love to give people, the advice that's just like bubbling up from your soul, and you would love to give it to people. You know, you just feel like you need to phone somebody up and tell them exactly what they need to do with their life, exactly what they need to do with their relationship, exactly what they need to do with their kids. Who asked me? And if somebody hasn't come to you and said, hey, Jennifer, I'm having problems with X, Y, and Z. Can you please help me, Jennifer? I'm looking for help right now. Then keep it freaking zipped. Like Stufu. Do what makes you happy and Stufu. And if you don't know what Stufu is, feel free to look that stuff up. And I would say that that was one of the things that I had to fall in love with making people wait. So more about that, more about the shift, and more about what you could be invited to after the break. My name is Jennifer Kramer Lewis, and this show is called Big Fat Lies, and we're talking about projectors. Oh my goodness, you guys, we have so much fun in the chat room. So if you do have time on Mondays at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to join us in the chat room here, you have the ability to get some customized support. And I love it. It's really generative to me. I am a manifesting generator. I am built to respond. And so I'm here. I'm ready to respond to whatever questions that you have about generating a life that's really, really successful, so filled with juicy recognition that that's your everyday. Your everyday is your body's being turned on by all of this recognition that you receive, all of these invitations to do cool things with cool people on the planet at the level that you are ready to advise at, whatever level that is. Whatever level that is, you know, like I see people working with people in the first year of their business. I see people who are, I tend to attract people in STEM. So that's science, technology, engineering, and medicine. And I love it. I'm working with a brand new, well, she's not new to her craft, but I'm working with a naturopathic physician. And so she's a new person that's come on in my business. And I would say that I think that naturopath is where it's at. I think everybody, their primary care physician should probably be a naturopath. So that's something that I'm advocating for with her and working with her to grow out her business. And I would say at this point in your life, projectors, I'm going to ask you a question like, what are you waiting for? So how many years are you going to allow yourself to be bitter, to be thwarted, to not be invited to play chess with people and really help them generate the success that they would like to have so that you can have the success that you are here to have? Because you're not sitting there in space alone. You're not. You're here to advise, and you're here to advise, and you're here to advise. And so if you're not advising for money, then, you know, there's only so much that you can receive. There's only so much success that you can have. You know, you can try to plant the seeds over and over and over again. But I really want you to know that the seeds of your success are in other people's networks, other people's gardens, other people's creations. And so they don't know that they're looking for you. So you need to be the most referable person in the whole universe, the most accessible person. And you also need to know, like, really what your life's mission is. And then there's other parts, other planets that we look at closely in your charts to make sure that you're super happy while you're doing it, to make sure that you're super healthy while you're doing it. Oh my goodness, yes, somebody in the chat's like, wasted days and wasted nights. I mean, abso-fucking-lutely. Waste. It's a huge waste. You know, it's like like a massive, beautiful buffet of talents that you have that you could be sharing with people. Or you could just be bitter as fuck and refuse to share that talent, though that advisory, because you're not clear about what it is that you do. And you're kind of maybe a little bit too proud to find out what that information is, or you're going to pretend that you don't have the budget for it. You know, like if you don't have $1,000 to find out what your life's mission is, then come on, like, let's get real. Let's get real, because we're here to grow. This is Earth University. You're here to work with other people in the pursuit of the deepest, most generative success that you're here to have. You know, that's what you're here to be and do. And I would love to freaking talk to you about it. I would love to talk to you about it. And so you can go to 888.jenniferkramerlewis.com, find out about Limitless, and maybe choose it, or maybe not. Maybe see you next year. So next week, we are going to go into communicating with reflectors, and as reflectors, the most rare energy type, the Yodas of the world, the sexy Yodas of the world, the people who should be definitely in their penthouse apartments, way above the fray, only working with the people at the very top level. And what I do see with these reflectors is because they are so sensitive that they get burnt out, they get overutilized by people who should definitely not have access to them. And I freaking love this energy type. They're supposed to be living their life in awe. They're supposed to be like, wow, you'll never believe who I talked to. You'll never believe who I'm coaching. You never believe what I came up with. You'll never believe what I found. And even better, they're supposed to have, again, this referral stream, because they are not here to generate. They are not here to do. They are definitely not here to do the do. And so if you know a reflector type, or if you are a reflector type, please invite them to next Monday. And then also people who are projectors, people who are generators and manifesting generators, to have these reflector type people in your life is super freaking valuable. The insights that they have are super freaking delicious, and we do need them. We are not meant to manifest in space alone. Even you manifestors, as much as you'd like to manifest alone, you need the people who do the do, which are the generators and the manifesting generators. You do need the advisors, and you're not here to be alone. We're here to have juicy generative relationships, and we're here to just grow as much as possible on this planet. So if you're ready to do that, then maybe reach out. What questions do you have for me? And definitely join me next Monday for Big Fat Lies. And we'll see you then. Super love you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I know there's everything that you could listen to, and you chose to listen to this today. And I'm super freaking grateful.
Thank you for listening to Big Fat Lies with success sorceress and entrepreneurial spiritual mentor, Jennifer Kramer Lewis. Join us next week at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Eastern on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until next week, Jennifer invites you to laugh at limitation and live your life delightfully by opening your eyes to the Big Fat Lies Show.